Race 2 of the weekend for ADAC TCR Germany here at the mighty Lausitzring, one of the most imposing and foreboding facilities in Germany, with the giant US-style grandstands overlooking the tri-oval and indeed the road course that we use here today. The TCR Germany race yesterday could prove to be a critical one at the end of the championship. It was a full haul of points, pole position and race win for Team Engstler's Martin Anderson, who we see here. Anderson in that 19 car, starting from second on the grid for this one. He is behind Jessica Bachmann on the grid. Now, Jessica, the next best driver in the championship, she did not score in yesterday's race. She ended up in the gravel in the damp conditions. The only driver to not be classified during yesterday's race, and that could be a major turning point in the championship. Anderson has been consistent all year long, scoring points, scoring podiums in every single race of the 2022 ADAC TCR Germany season. So Jessica Bachmann dropping those points could prove to be a very, very poor day in the office for her. However, a chance at retribution from pole position. If Bachmann can get points on the board here and beat Martin Anderson to the flag, then at least the championship hopes of the Swede can continue on to the Sachsenring and possibly to Hockenheim, our remaining 2 rounds of the season. We are 5 races from the end of the championship here at the moment in the 2022 season. And certainly Anderson with quite a comfortable championship advantage at the moment, over 50 points to the good. But anything can happen over 5 races in touring car competition. There is the championship advantage, 54 points. The gap slightly narrowed courtesy of Jessica Bachmann's pole position in yesterday's qualifying 2 session. We see the points continuing to tick through. A close battle it was up front as of the Nürburgring. There were very few points between Bachmann and Anderson at the Nürburgring, but Jessica didn't quite seem to have the car hooked up last time out at the Nürburgring. However, she and ADAC Motorsport have got the pole position for today's race. Martin Anderson there in second place. Simon Ladniak and Jonas Karklees on row 2 of the grid. Row 3, René Kirscher and Roland Hertner. Youth meets experience on row 3. Robin Jar and Patrick Singh on row 4 of the grid. Row 5 sees Vincent Rademacher joined by Max Grun. And in 11th place, rounding out the order, Michael Maurer of Maurer Motorsport. But Bachmann did not have a great time at the Nürburgring. The non-finish yesterday, another blow to her championship hopes. But Jessica Bachmann and ADAC Motorsport have been working hard here this weekend to get the car together. ADAC Motorsport by ASL Lichtblau, of course, running 3 cars on this grid, 2 Hyundai Velosters and a Hyundai i30N. The i30N, of course, the car driven by René Kirscher. We've also got 3 cars from Liqui Team Engstler. Of course, Engstler themselves ran Hyundais in 2021. These days, though, they are very much a Honda team. And it is the Honda Civic Type R Generation 2, the FK7, that the Danish driver Martin Anderson currently leads the championship with. And indeed, Simon Ladniak is currently having a very good campaign in the junior class with his Civic. And Roland Hertner, the third of the Honda Civics from the Engstler stable, currently heading the way in the trophy class as well. So Engstler looking to have a very decorated season here in ADAC TCR Germany. We have a 30-minute race ahead of us here. Yesterday, Jessica Bachmann didn't get off the line well. She dropped down the order in the early going. She was second on the grid then. Let's see if pole position tells a different story for the Swedish driver. It's Bachmann versus Anderson in the championship and on the drag race down to turn 1 from the front row of the grid. The lights will go out. They are out, and we are underway and racing at the Lausitzring, and Martin Andersson has got a fabulous start. Jessica Bachmann again hasn't got off the line too well. It looks as though it could be Ladniak or Karkleys in second place. Bachmann trying to hold on around the outside, but it is once again an Engstler Honda 1-2. Simon Ladniak slots himself into second place. Jonas Karkleys up into third position in the early stages. Fourth place there for Jessica Bachmann. She's leading an ASL Lixblau Roja Motorsport 3-car train there for 4th through 6th place. Not where she would want to be in the early stages of this race. She's got Robin Char and Rene Kirscher just behind at this stage. But Jessica Bachmann down to 4th place and falling off the back of Jonas Karkleys already. It was wet conditions yesterday in the qualifying session where Jessica Bachmann scored her pole position, but nonetheless would expect her to be able to fight for victory in this race. However, that start is going to make things a little harder. Andersson with Simon Ladniak behind. Jonas Karkleys looking to play the spoiler from 3rd place, and Roland Hertner there looked like he might have been a little bit slow. Took a different line than everyone else there in the Civic, but continues on. No visit to the pit lane, so that's okay then. Hopefully no issues for the number 9 car, the 3rd of the Engstler Civics. He is just behind Vincent Rademacher, who's just got past Patrick Singh there on the turn 12 banking, the final corner of both the road course and indeed the tri-oval here at the Lausitzring. Rademacher now going defensive as Patrick Singh tries to get back around him. Rademacher in the Holden Astra. Both the colour scheme and indeed our geographic location makes you want to say Opel, but it is running under a Holden livery and a Holden badge here. There you see Martin Andersson leading the way then in the early stages. You see the Danish flag on his wing end plates. The driver who came up through series like the Danish Thundercar series, various saloon car categories. He got another great start in this one. Jessica Bachmann just didn't seem to have the traction off the line. Maybe a bit too ginger on the throttle or something like that, because it just seemed like everyone else launched away quicker. Big shame that Jessica Bachmann hasn't been able to capitalise on this pole position, but I'm sure she isn't going to give up yet. We've seen her have some fabulous fights through the order, including at Oschersleben and the Nürburgring. Jessica, always a prolific overtaker when that's what she needs to do. They come across the line now as we continue to look at replays of the start. This is Jonas Karkleys' perspective. You see there, Jessica Bachmann ran out of room on the outside of turn 1, and that's how Jonas Karkleys made it up into 3rd place. Go back to live pictures now. There is Karkleys in 3rd, Jessica Bachmann behind. Has closed back in on the i30N. 2 Hyundais of slightly differing spec for Bachmann and Karkleys, the more coupe-esque Hyundai Veloster. The i30N, the more traditional hatchback model. Of course, there is also the Hyundai Elantra Saloon available for TCR competition. We've got 2 out of 3 Hyundai TCR variants on the grid. There's Max Grun in the Sol Audi, just behind Roland Hertner. Max running in the junior classification, along with the likes of Simon Ladniak and Rene Kirscher, but currently down in 10th place, just behind Roland Hertner. Hertner, a former ADAC Pro Car champion, has been very successful within the trophy class of ADAC TCR Germany. And there's Patrick Singh and Max Grun there, side by side through 12. I think some grass was kicked up there by Grun on the outside of the corner, and Patrick Singh has dropped now right down to 10th place. It's a couple of laps in a row now that we've seen Patrick Singh seemingly lose time, particularly out of the final corner. I'm just wondering if he's struggling for low speed grip or traction. Car doesn't look like it's inherently slow, but seemingly he is struggling a little bit at the moment in another of the Hyundais. So we'll keep an eye on Patrick Singh. As they go through turn 6 of this 12-corner layout. It is a 3.478-kilometre circuit, the Lausitzring short course. Uses parts of the tri-oval here at the Lausitzring, formerly the Euro Speedway Lausitz. Patrick Singh to the inside at turn 8, can't quite get the car alongside Max Gruen, but still on the offensive here. Into the braking zone at turn 10 and 11, the final chicane. Practically a double hairpin before they go out onto the oval once more. Once again, Patrick Singh not quite able to get the run out of the last corner by the looks of it, although he is closer to Max Gruen in the back of shot. There he is once again. Look at the front end of the order there. Ladniak has now fallen 1.4 seconds back from Anderson. So the gap between the two extending ever so slightly. 0.3 faster practically on that last lap was Martin Anderson. So then Ladniak leading the junior class from second position overall, of course. René Kirscher all the way down in 6th place at the moment, his closest junior class competitor. There is Jessica Bachmann, who will surely be feeling the pressure. Moreover, she will be desperate to get around Jonas Karklees, Ladniak and perhaps even Anderson if she possibly can. We did see at the Nürburgring that the Hondas seemed to slow up towards the end of the race. Whether that was to do with tyre life or whether that was simply car preservation, we're uncertain. But we'll have to see in the dry conditions whether or not that manifests itself again. Could it leave an option for Karklees and Bachmann in the Hyundais to attack Ladniak and Anderson later in the race? Certainly at the Nürburgring, the Hondas seemed to ever so slightly fade towards the end of the race. There is René Kirscher coming under increasing pressure, perhaps from Rademacher behind. I think Rademacher lapping quicker at the moment, indeed 0.3 faster than René Kirscher on the last lap. So Kirscher and Roger Motorsport teammate Robin Jarre, who we see there in the 22 car, could be coming under pressure from the Astra behind in the not too distant future. We've gone with non-matching wheels on the 22 for today's race. Looks like they've got a sole yellow wheel. Not quite sure what that represents or signifies, but I'm sure fans of symmetry aren't too pleased with that. So they've got headlights out as well. René Kirscher closing in on Robin Jarre then. A little bit of bodywork hanging loose there from the front fender. A bit of damage to the left front quarter panel and the wheel arch, but doesn't seem to be causing him any performance hindrances at this stage. The top 4 firmly pulling away from the rest of the pack. Anderson maintaining a gap of about 1.5 seconds at the moment over Ladniak. Ladniak, the Polish driver, who was born in February of 2003, just 19 years of age. Had his first full season in TCR Germany last year, having graduated from the World of Clio Cup competition. Simon Ladniak. Certainly a young star who could be a championship winner in this series and other TCR competition in the future. Karklees, though, certainly maintaining the pressure on Ladniak at this stage. Karklees, who also came from Clio Cup competition. He took a win in the very final race of the year in 2021 at the Nürburgring. Karklees' best finish of this year so far is a P2. He's done that on 2 occasions. Currently there in 3rd place. Could he match or best his optimal result of 2022 today? Has to get around Ladniak before he gets to 2nd, and then he'll have to pursue Anderson if he wants that first win of the 2022 season. But Jonas Karklees has looked quick pretty much every weekend. When Jessica Bachmann hasn't been top Hyundai, it has often been Jonas Karklees that has picked up the flag for the Korean manufacturer. Of course, Hyundai and Kia largely operated under the same umbrella. Seen very little of Kia in TCR, aside from a independently built Seed. Hyundai, though, firmly invested in TCR and indeed WRC competition. Jonas Karklees continues to pressure then Simon Ladniak. Taking a wider berth there through turn 11 into the banking of turn 12. Doesn't look like he quite got the run that I was anticipating he'd get there. You could hear there the cars hesitating on the throttle a little bit there. I think that's the sound of them going over the bump at turn 12. There is quite a nasty bump there. And on a few other parts of the circuit, it doesn't affect the touring cars or indeed the GTs too much. We do, however, have the Prototype Cup Germany here this weekend at Lausitz, and it's looking very bumpy for those all-carbon LMP3 machines. There's Jessica Bachmann. We ride on board with her into turn 6. Slightly narrower approach to the corner. You see that narrow turn-in approach from a few drivers in touring cars. Matt Neal in the British Championship was famously of the opinion that the narrower approach into a corner was sometimes best, particularly in the days of the dynamics built Integras and so on. Jonas Karklees then, keeping half an eye on the rear view mirror with Jessica Bachmann behind, and also keeping an eye on Ladniak, who seemingly has just started to eke away a 10th or so from Karklees. The gap between them has gone up fractionally on that last lap. See them hopping that curb at turn 1, the turtle curb. Oh, Robin Jarr in particular, with a disregard for his spinal cord. 2 wheels firmly off the ground as he hopped over the curbs at turn 1. We discussed earlier on that Vincent Rademacher was closing in on Rene Kirscher, and he is doing so. Just saw it in the back of shot there for a split second that Vincent Rademacher is now close behind the 8 car of Rene Kirscher for 6th place. Rademacher equalled his best result of the season last time out with a 5th place finish. He's going to have to work quite hard to match or surpass that today, after a slightly poor qualifying for this race yesterday. There is Jonas Karklees. Still there in third place. Interesting, you can see the different lines taken by each driver. Looks like this time by, Karklees may have closed the gap once again. It was out to 9/10 of a second last time. When they're in a pack this close, it is all rather irrelevant, the exact gaps, but it has gone down again in favour of Karklees on this lap. There is Rademacher behind René Kirscher, as discussed. Then you have Hertner, Grun and Patrick Singh, who again, Patrick Singh does not look like he has the pace we'd normally expect from him today. Quite a way off of Max Grun at this stage of the race. There is René Kirscher under pressure then from Rademacher. Kirscher, a 22-year-old racer. This is his 4th season in TCR. Vincent Rademacher's career far exceeds the TCR rulebook, which was introduced for the 2014 season, if memory serves me correctly, 14 or 15. I'm sure that I will be informed by Phil Kinch in due course which one it is. But Vincent Rademacher has been involved in touring car competition for a very, very long time indeed. A factory driver in the British Championship, a race winner in the prestigious British Touring Car Championship, and a champion in both Belgium and Germany. A lap record holder as well at the Nürburgring for production saloon cars in a Jaguar Project 8 XE. We'll see if Rademacher can challenge Kirscher. Certainly he's still close by. Ladniak, Karklees and Jessica Bachmann still at close quarters in the scrap for second place, and this time by, it seems as though Jessica Bachmann is closer to Karklees than she has been for some time, and I can tell you that Karklees just locked up a little bit there at turn 6. We didn't catch that on camera, but he did lock up on turn in at 6. Missed the apex as a result, and Jessica Bachmann drew a bit closer because of it. Hopefully he hasn't caused any undue damage to his right front handcook. There's Michael Maurer allowing our race leaders through. A lap off the lead at this stage, and he has to be careful here to not compromise this battle for second place. Heads up driving there from Maurer to stay out of the way there. The Swiss, who is still on a learning curve here in TCR competition. The Maurer family, long-term saloon car racers. Michael's still very much learning the ropes. Robin Jarre gets past him as well. There's René Kirscher still under pressure from Rademacher in the sister Maureride Sports Holden Astra. Back wheel in the air. Would it be a hot hatch if it didn't cock a rear wheel? Great to see those slow motion shots at T11 and 12. Simon Ladniak coming under increasing pressure from the Hyundais, the Nordpass-backed car of Jonas Karklees, and Roger Motorsports' leading lady, Jessica Bachmann. Jessica, such an impressive driver. She had podiums to her name in TCR Germany prior to this year. But she has taken numerous race victories in 2022, 4 victories so far in 2022 for Jessica Bachmann. Doesn't look like a victory is forthcoming today, with Martin Andersson continuing to drive away as we hit the 2/3 distance mark. Jonas Karklees, though, feeling the need to go defensive. Jessica Bachmann will sense a podium. And she needs all the points she can get to stay in the title hunt here. Up against Martin Andersson. Realistically, with Andersson outscoring Jessica Bachmann here today, or at least looking like he's going to, it is going to be an uphill struggle for this point onwards for Jessica Bachmann. Just 4 more points paying round to the championship to come. 2 at the Sachsenring and 2 at Hockenheim. Jessica Bachmann really needs to capitalise on this pole position today. Unfortunately, she's found herself off the podium for the time being, but that is something she's looking to rectify as she continues to pressure Jonas Karklees. A bit of oversteer on turn-in, though, at 8, and that has sent her back a couple of car lengths. Jessica clearly pushing on. Less than 8.5 minutes of racing left to go then, just hitting that 8.5 minute marker now. We do add 1 lap at the end of the race as well. So once we hit the 0:00, we will add 1 more lap to the race distance. Martin Andersson with a controlled drive at the sharp end of the order. Slight lock up there from Robin Jarre on entry into T1. He's closed up rather handily on the pack headed by Ladniak, hasn't he? Robin Jarre. They're in 5th place. One would suspect that Roja Motorsport would not particularly like to see Robin Jarre challenge Jessica Bachmann. She needs all of the points she can get in this championship scrap, and a teammate getting past is not going to help. Jessica, though, closing in once more on Jonas Karklees. Even with that error at this point in the lap last time by, Bachmann is once again all over the back of Jonas Karklees. She clearly has the pace advantage. She just needs to find a way through. She had a little look to the inside out of the penultimate corner. Now she'll have the slipstream around the bank T12 and onto the main straight. In the shadow of the magnificent main grandstand here at the Lausitzring, Jessica Bachmann is closing in the slipstream of Jonas Karklees, but not close enough for a move into turn 1. Up over the curbs goes Jonas Karklees. Bachmann not quite close enough on that occasion, but she's clearly showing her statement of intent. Another nose to the inside, coming back onto the oval at road course turn 5. And diving to the inside at 6, again not quite close enough. Jonas Karklees locking up slightly there onto corner entry. We've seen him do that at turn 6 on a couple of occasions. You see that Jessica had the pace last time by over Jonas Karklees. Karklees a bit wider through turn 8 than Jessica Bachmann on that occasion. Doesn't seem to have made any substantial difference. Here comes Karklees out of T11. Last time Bachmann had a look to the inside. She does so again there, but once more, not quite getting the nose to the inside of Karklees' quarter panel. Bachmann again in the slip. You hear them over the bumps there out of oval turn 3. Of course, only 3 corners on this tri-oval layout for the speedway at Lausitz. Closes right up to Karklees once again, but can't quite do it at T1. You get the feeling, though, that it's just a matter of time before Jessica Bachmann finds her way through into third place. Jonas Karklees, though, the Lithuanian driver, doing an admirable job of holding off Jessica Bachmann, who is very experienced in TCR competition. Of course, used to race a Volkswagen Golf for West Coast Racing. Has moved over to the Hyundai and Roja Motorsport and is doing a great job at the wheel. However, she needs this podium. She needs those points. It's already very much suboptimal that Martin Andersson looks to be in the pound seat for a race victory here. But it'll be worse still if Jessica Bachmann can't get herself onto the podium. Of course, it was a fabulous weekend at Oschersleben where Jessica Bachmann took her first victory of the TCR season, 1 week removed from Jessica Hawkins doing the same at TCR UK. And Jessica has gone on to a fabulous season in TCR Germany. She needs a podium today, and she's scrapping with Karklees every inch of the way. Oh, contact between Rene Kirscher and Vincent Rademacher at turn 1. So Rademacher still on the back of Rene Kirscher and trying some of those old touring car driver tricks to find his way through. Nothing doing just yet for Rademacher. Continues to pressure Rene Kirscher. Kirscher tried to get to the apex of the corner. Slightly clumsy there. Rademacher had a nose on the inside. I don't think he was ever going to pull out of the manoeuvre. Lights ablaze for Vincent Rademacher then, as he continues to hustle. Young Rene Kirscher in the third Roja Motorsport Hyundai. This is a battle for 6th overall. Rademacher comfortably leading the trophy class over Roland Hurtner. The incident between these two cars is now listed as under investigation. Have to wait and see what comes of that. Yeah, rapidly approaching the final 2 minutes of the race. And what's going on here? Ladniak suddenly under pressure from Jonas Karklees. It was a bad lap last time from Ladniak, some 7/10 slower than Jonas Karklees, and suddenly Jessica Bachmann, while she is still hounding Jonas Karklees, Karklees could well end up with second place here. A big snake and wobble there into turn 1 as he tried to avoid the slowing Simon Ladniak. As we continue to see replays of this, I can tell you that Ladniak is still under huge pressure as they go through turn 7. Here we go now. Jonas Karklees has the inside line. Contact between himself and Ladniak as they fight for the apex. It'll be a drag race down towards turn 8. Karklees has a nose ahead, but Ladniak has the inside. Jessica Bachmann clipped the gravel out of T7 and got a poor run down the straight. As a result, Ladniak holds on to second place for now, but Jonas Karklees is putting the pressure on. Just over a minute of racing left to go. This time by, they will cross the line to begin the penultimate lap. And here comes Jonas Karklees. Ladniak just about gets the Honda in front of the Hyundai as they go around turn 11. And here comes Jessica Bachmann. The door is open. Karklees did not get the run off the corner. And Jessica Bachmann capitalizes and moves into an all-important third place. Or does she? Because Karklees has the slipstream from Ladniak. And Robin Jarre is getting involved. Oh, he hits his own teammate. Oh no, we spoke about this exact incident. We said that Jessica Bachmann and the Roja Motorsport team would not want to see Robin Jarre go on the offensive against Jessica Bachmann. I said that I didn't think they'd want to see him take points away. They certainly didn't want to see him make contact with the sister Hyundai Veloster, but that's exactly what happened. Robin Jar dove up the inside at turn 1. Major contact. We've seen that the suspension is damaged on Robin Jar's Hyundai. Surely Jessica Bachmann's car can't be A1 either, but either way, she has dropped down the order. Is she moving again? The car is no longer at turn 1. So I think Jessica Bachmann is back underway somewhere, but she's somewhere. And just heard the scream there from Jessica. Oh, goodness me, you have to feel for Jessica Bachmann. That's Robin Jar out of the car. The suspension badly damaged. But we're back now to live pictures. Jonas Karklees has fallen off the back of Ladniak once again. In amongst all of that, so the top 3 is exactly what it was. Jessica Bachmann is still circulating, I believe. But she is doing so just behind Max Grun, so she is down, I believe, in 7th place now. If my math serves me correctly, it doesn't. It's 8th place for Jessica Bachmann. That is a gutting blow for Jessica Bachmann. You heard her scream of discontentment as Robin Jar tried to dive up the inside, tried to find a gap that simply wasn't there, and all of this has played handily to the benefit of Martin Andersson, who has had a perfect, a nigh-on perfect weekend. He didn't get the pole position for this race, but he will have both victories in the books for this weekend. He's just a couple of corners away for Honda Liqui-Moly Team Engstler. Martin Andersson draws a significant step closer to a championship win in ADAC TCR Germany with a 2nd consecutive victory at the Lausitzring. That makes it 4 wins in 4 races for Martin Andersson, who is surging in the late stages of this championship. Ladniak takes 2nd in the junior class win. Jonas Karklees rounds out the podium. Rene Kirscher takes 4th place. Vincent Rademacher ultimately does match his best result of the season with another 5th place. His best weekend of the year so far then. And in 6th place, Roland Hertner crosses the line. Max Grun in 7th. There is the recovering Jessica Bachmann, who has not been able to secure any luck this weekend at the Lausitzring. A really unfortunate error in damp conditions yesterday. And contact with a teammate, where you'd have to argue she was little more than a passenger in today's race. That is a significant blow to her championship chances. She will still mathematically be in the championship, but the contact with that man, Robin Jar, has put all signs pointing towards a Martin Andersson championship win in ADAC TCR Germany. He's reflecting there, sat at the banking at turn 1 of the oval, looking upon his tattered Hyundai after this incident of contact between the two. Gonna fall silent here. We heard Jessica. And there you heard it, the sheer anger from Jessica Bachmann at that incident. And I think Robin, regardless of whether he's attributing blame to himself or Jessica, you can see that he clearly has a lot on his mind. I'm sure it's going to be an intense debrief down at ADAC Motorsport No such worries for Liqui Moly Team Engstler. Another 1-2, courtesy of Martin Andersson and Simon Ladniak. Jonas Karklees rounds out the podium ahead of Rene Kirscher for Roger Hyundai. Vincent Rademacher rounds out the top 5 and takes the trophy win ahead of Roland Hurtner, Max Grun and Jessica Bachmann rounding out the top 10. Patrick Singh with what seemed to be a slightly ailing Hyundai taking 9th place. Michael Maurer 10th and final finisher. Robin Jarr looking unconsolable on the banking at turn 1. Well, certainly, I said yesterday that race 1 at the Lausitzring could be a turning point in the championship. I think it's going to be hard to argue that race 2 at Lausitzring has definitely been a turning point in the championship. Andersson has had great form this weekend. And 2 weeks ago at the Nürburgring as well. August has been a mighty successful month for Martin Andersson, but Jessica Bachmann's weekend at the Lausitzring has been one to forget, unfortunately. Now, that point standing, I believe, is a little bit out of date. That was the points before the most recent race. This was the points at the start of this race. The gap now will be out to 79 points between Andersson and Bachmann. In fact, no, it'll be out to about 70 points. My apologies, my math's a little bit off there, but it was 54 points the advantage before this race. It's now gone out significantly more, courtesy of this success for Martin Andersson and his minions. Banana. Martin Andersson, the young Dane, who was runner-up last year in ADAC TCR Germany, of course, behind their rather updated points. So thankfully I wasn't imagining things. The points have changed, and there is the confirmation. 71 points between Andersson and Bachmann. You have to feel for Jessica Bachmann. She has certainly put a foot or two wrong in the last couple of weekends, but that collision with Robin Jarr may not have been all that necessary. And certainly the debrief at Roger Motorsport is going to be one possibly with few words spoken. Any words that are spoken unlikely to be broadly positive. Martin Andersson, though, with a huge step towards taking his first ADAC TCR Germany championship. Was really solid in last year's championship. Was the runner-up in Danish TCR back in 2020 as well. Certainly a touring car star in the offing is Martin Andersson. He's on the up and up. I'm curious to see what he does with his 2023. He still has to secure this championship, but he could do so before the end of the Sachsenring weekend on the 24th and 25th of September. Certainly Jessica Bachmann is going to need to rely on misfortunes now for Martin Andersson. With a 71-point gap and just over 100 points left available in the 4 races and qualifying sessions. It's going to be an upward battle now for Jessica Bachmann. She really could have done with that podium today. It was a podium she almost had. She was side by side with Jonas Karklees for 3rd place at the time of that collision. Of course, they went 3 wide, the 3 Hyundais, and it was Robin Jarr, Bachmann's own teammate, that struck the blow to the inside of Jessica Bachmann and sent her tumbling down the order. Andersson and Ladniak then making it another 1-2 for Liqui Moly Team Engstler. Martin Andersson with a supreme weekend. And 71 points could well be an unassailable gap. It will be celebrations for the Engstler team, absolutely no strangers to championship victories here in ADAC TCR competition. There's Jonas Karklees. Another podium for Jonas. Hasn't quite matched his best result of the season. He's had a couple of second places so far this year, but it is his 4th podium of the 2022 season. And there is Martin Andersson greeting teammate Simon Ladniak and taking it to the top step of the podium. Martin Andersson will hear his national anthem once more. There's a representative from Liqui Team Engstler. The look of an optimistic man, I think that for Martin Andersson. He knows how good this weekend has been for him. 2 more victories in the books. Heinz-Peter Freiberg handing over the trophy to Martin Andersson there. Norbert Kohlenbrenner, one of the key figures here at Lausitzring, presenting the 2nd place trophy to Simon Ladniak. And Jonas Karklees takes the 3rd place trophy. The team's trophy once again goes to Honda Liqui Team Engstler. Much to the delight of the Engstler crew. Up onto the podium they go. Vincent Rademacher, in due course, will also receive a trophy, of course, for his efforts in the trophy class today. But coming out of the Lausitzring, it's advantage Liqui Team Engstler. It's advantage Martin Andersson in the championship battle. They will be racing again on the 24th and 25th of September at the Sachsenring.